Hey now, y'all. I am joined by the hottest girl on TikTok right now. Not only is she the hottest girl on TikTok, but she is also Pacific Islander. She's Polynesian. She is Samoan. She is Miss Drew Afualo. Girl, welcome to the interview. What's good? What's happening on your end?
Oh my gosh, just so many things. I have been so crazy busy in the best way possible, but I am so honored to be on the show. Thank you so much for having me. As a Samoan woman, it's an honor. It's an honor to be featured.
It's an honor to see you. I swear, whenever I see an Islander, we just talk about you because it's hard to see a brown person on social media. But first, let's get to Coachella. How did the girls enjoy Coachella? Let's talk about that.
Oh, it was so fun. The only downside is that I'm like an 80-year-old man. So I really had to like rally a lot because I was so tired. I'm so tired. My bedtime's like 8 p.m. So having to stay out past like midnight every night for 3 days was exhausting, but it was so fun. Like it was truly a much different experience than the last time I went. Because the last time I went, I just went as like a normal person. So getting to go like as an influencer now was like surreal. So it was so much fun and I had like a blast. I got to take my boyfriend and my sister and some of my friends. So it was really fun.
Let's talk about your start and popularity. I'm going to reference your podcast, Two Idiot Girls, with your sister Dason a lot through this. I gave it a good listen, especially because you talk about Polynesian culture and just how it all works from a woman living in the US, kind of far away from the community. So I guess let's bring it forward a little bit and talk about when did you pop off on TikTok? Because on Two Idiot Girls, you talked about your follower count last year, and it wasn't compared to now, girl, it was low. So where did it all start?
I mean, my start to TikTok was it was unexpected, obviously. Like I was working at the NFL from 2019 to 2020, then the pandemic hit like a couple weeks later. So, everyone's at home, we're all in lockdown. That's when TikTok really started taking off. Like it was already big at the time, but it really took off during the pandemic, I think, because everybody was at home and had nothing really to do. So when I was on TikTok originally, I was more so just a voyeur. I was just watching. And then my boyfriend actually encouraged me to start posting. And he, back in the day, I used to post rants to like make my friends laugh, like on Snapchat and Instagram stories. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll start doing some fun stuff. Like it was more so just like a creative outlet for me, something to be fun. I posted a couple videos that did pretty well and I was like, this is pretty cool. Like that's fun. I just thought it was something exciting to do on the side. And then I did a video where I was talking about very specific red flags in men. And I like had like a list of like 25 things. And that video was my first video to ever go viral. Like that video took off. And because of that video, that's when I started upsetting the terrible men on that app. So they started posting a whole bunch of hate about me, like what I looked like, all that kind of stuff. And then that led to me responding to the hate. So when I started responding to the hate and being mean back, like making fun of what they looked like. And
they did not like it, bro.
Yeah, they didn't like it. But the girls did. So the girls ate it up. So they gravitated towards me. I think a huge thing I always say in interviews is like, one of the biggest reasons I think women especially gravitate towards me is because I don't waste time educating a bigot. Like I'm not gonna teach a full-grown man how to not hate women openly. That's not my job. So last time I checked, I didn't give birth to you. So that's not my job.
Say it with me, fellas. Only respecting women you're attracted to isn't respecting women.
So I don't waste time doing it. So I think that's why women gravitate towards me. And that's like genuinely when it kind of got the ball rolling. And then I did a video about a gift my boyfriend got me for Valentine's Day. That one took off too at the same time. And so it was kind of like this balancing act of like, I was lighting these dudes up for being horrible and also giving women the bare minimum and expecting them to be cool with it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, their counterpoint to that is always like, oh, she's probably single. But I'm not. I've been in a very loving, healthy relationship for going on 5 years now.
Have you seen her man? Have you seen her man?
Yeah.
Well, ain't even in the ballpark. So let's
yeah. and he's someone also. So like it balanced the scales almost, because women saw that I held my standards very high, so I got someone that was worthy of my time. So obviously, like, that was something I think women were like, oh, okay, like, I can hold my standards high too. I don't have to like eat all this terrible stuff from like these very low on the totem pole men just because they say I'm gonna die alone if I don't. Like, oh, you're too picky, that kind of argument. Oh, no. So once those two balls started rolling at the same time, it really took off. I started kind of getting in trouble though, like my videos started getting taken down sometimes, so that kind of slowed my growth a little bit. But I hit 1 million, I believe, in July of 2021, I believe, is when I hit 1 million. And then I was chilling there till December 4th, I remember the day exactly, I hit 2 million. And then in December, like by the end of December, I was at 4. And then by the end of January, I was at 6, and then I just hit 7. So like,
now the girls are at 7. What you gonna say?
I just hit 7 last week. So the compounding of it, I think, was just residual from me posting all the time. Like I post every single day almost. And then me just continuously finding new ways to like make the terrible men's lives miserable on that app. So it's just compounding on itself.
Oh man, those men must have phones in their hands 24 hours a day, because
honestly, I'm starting to think so.
I don't know why. Wow, that is iconic. And I did read up on you working for the NFL, and it was not good. The girls did not like it. But your dream was to work in the sports media, right? As a sports journalist?
Yes, that was my goal initially. My dad played for the NFL like back in the day. And obviously like I'm Samoan, so like the NFL is like in our bloodline, like football's like in our bloodstream. So I just thought that was a natural progression for me to go into sports. I always wanted to be in some sort of media. I just thought sports was going to be my avenue to be in media. Like I wanted to be a personality, like an Aaron Andrews. That's kind of like what I wanted to do, specifically for the NFL. So that's what my goal was when I graduated from college. Obviously I'm in a much different place now. But now that I look back and I have like the hindsight, I genuinely believe that this is my actual dream job. I thought it was one thing, but it turns out it's this. So it's so much more, I think, fulfilling and rewarding for me. So I'm very, very happy that it worked out the way it did.
That's crazy that you wanted to become a sports journalist specifically in the NFL, because I feel like the NFL in the US kind of has a culture of taking from Pacific people, Polynesians, and they like to scout our boys, and they like to throw them in teams, ultra wide environments, and there's no other cultural supports around them. So yeah. It's funny you mentioned that, because if I didn't go into sports media, my other avenue was going to be into education, but more so like when I was in college, I worked as a tutor for athletes, specifically for football players. More so because my dad went through the same thing, my boyfriend went through the same thing, where they're so talented athletically that they put them into these programs under the guise of they're going to make sure they take care of them. However, they don't always emphasize how important it is to get your degree at the same time. They kind of are just making sure that they're eligible to play. So I feel like a lot of times the academia gets pushed to the back. So they're more so focus on being athletic, focus on being the best. And then if for some reason they run out of eligibility time, right, they get hurt, things like that happen. They sometimes don't finish their degree. Sometimes they get let go, right? Sometimes they're just like, well, you're no longer of use to us, so see ya. And that was something I felt very passionate about in college, which is why I did many stories on it, and how
like Samoan men are like 5 times more likely to go to the NFL than any other race, which is just an unreal statistic considering the per capita of how many Samoans there are in the world compared to every other race. So, you know, it's kind of like the use and abuse of their bodies was something I felt very passionate about stopping, at least making sure that they know that they have worth and value outside of their athleticism. That was like something I felt very passionate about in college. So if the NFL didn't work out, that was the other avenue I was going to take, was going more so down education, like being a counselor, like a college counselor, for athletes specifically. Because I want them to know that if for some reason the NFL doesn't work out, or if you go and then you can't play anymore, like you get hurt or something happens, God forbid, you have other avenues of, you know, finding purpose, finding like a passion, something that doesn't have to rely on your physicality. And so, you know, watching my dad go through that too was something, I think that's why I felt so driven towards that goal. So anytime someone lets me talk about it, I talk about it because I feel so like, I feel so, you know, supportive and passionate about my own people. So I just want to make sure they're taken care of, right? So.
Yeah, definitely. I find like similar patterns between NFL and rugby union.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All these Maori, Polynesian, Pacific men, they're coming into the sport, you know, you're going to be given sponsorships, we'll put you in a nice house, etc, and then you'll come out of the sport with several concussions, like really hard medical conditions, and there's no ongoing support. It's almost like, we want you to win games for us, and that's it. That's period.
Yeah.
Anything
exactly.
That, you don't care.
My dad didn't start playing football till he was in junior college, and my dad got drafted. So that just shows you like how it's truly in the bloodstream. We're just like an incredibly athletic and agile people, which is an incredible and wonderful thing. Like for it, and I feel like if you ask any Samoan man that makes it to the NFL and sustains like a career, a lot of times they're just like, I just wanted to support my family. Like that's what it always comes down to. They want to take care of their family. They want to be able to provide for them. Exactly. Whether or not it's something they want to do forever is not really factored into the decision. It's always just like, I want to take care of my family. This is a way for me to take care of my family. With money they've never even seen before. Like no one sees money like that. Like they make crazy money in the NFL. So, you know, I don't blame them at all. I'm sure they enjoy playing. I'm sure they have so much fun playing, but a lot of times it comes down to being able to support your family, which I can't blame them for. But if I wanted to like help them in some way, especially in the transition from college to the pros, that was like something I felt very passionate about. So yeah.
Oosh, we love that. Let's talk about growing up in Cali, Samoan girl. I mean, she's not in Samoa. So what was it like? Did you have any Pacific kids around you growing up, or was it just you?
When I was younger, I would say like elementary to like middle school, there wasn't really any Samoan kids in my school other than like my sister and I. But I always had my family. So you know, like my extended family, I was raised around like my mom's family. And that was my immersion into Samoan culture, was spending time with my family. When I got to high school, there was more Samoans and Tongans in my school. So that was really nice. And then when I went to college, like I went to the University of Hawaii. So like there's like a bunch, like endless amounts of Polynesian people, which was even better for me. And when I was in college, when I went to the University of Hawaii, like I got to take Samoan as like a language course, which was something I was really excited about. Like I was so excited to hear that they offered it. So I took that for like 2 years, which was really fun. Just to like feel closer to my culture and learn more outside of my family. Cause I always had like, my parents are both Samoan. So, you know, I always was exposed to my culture, but getting to experience it on my own, like as an adult, was really nice. But growing up as a kid, there weren't many Samoan people around, other than my family, of course, but not in school really. When in high school, yes.
I guess because of that, were there moments in your childhood upbringing where you felt your identity was invalidated, that you felt a distance from your culture, from your language? Because I suppose all these people asking, what are you? Like, are you Hawaiian? And then you just say, oh yeah. I'm Kanaka. But then like, that actually hurts inside because you're not entirely there with your people.
Oh yeah. I mean, when I was a kid, I think I was in probably like the 3rd or 4th grade. I remember I went to a back to school night with my dad. So my dad took me, and some kids would ask me like, what are you? Because sometimes they would think I was like Latin a lot of times. And I was like, no, I'm Samoan. But I used to say it like Samoan. So I used to say like, oh, I'm Samoan. And so they would say, well, what is that? Is that like Hawaii? And then I would say, yeah, it's like the same thing. That's what I would tell them when I was like in 3rd or 4th grade.
Like hula skirts and coconut.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, you seen Lilo and Stitch? Yeah, it's that.
Yeah.
So I literally was like, yeah, it's like the same thing. That's what I said when I was in like 3rd or 4th grade. And I still remember to this day when my dad took me home, my dad asked me, why do you tell people that? And I was like, well, I don't know. I'm just tired of having to explain it. Like, I was like, every time I try to explain it, that it's not the same, it's different. Like they ask me more questions and I just like, don't want to hear it. Yeah. And so my dad was like, he wasn't upset with me, but he was telling me, like, just stressing the importance to me that it's important that I tell people I'm Samoan and that I say it the right way. And he was saying, because you are Samoan and that's a good thing. Like, you should be proud to be Samoan. And I was like, I am. But like, when you're a kid, you know, you're ignorant when you're a little kid and you're like, whatever, dads, like parents, all that kind of stuff. And like, my mom told me the same exact thing. So since that day, I always pronounced it the right way. And I always made sure people knew that I was Samoan. I wasn't Hawaiian. Obviously, I wasn't Kanaka. Because there's a difference, and it's important that you know the difference. It's important that people recognize the difference. So I still remember that conversation with my dad, because he was telling me it's important that you tell people because you should be proud. And I was like, yeah, as a kid. But now I understand. Yeah, now I totally understand.
I can definitely resonate with you on that, because there would be times, even with my last name, like it would be pronounced at school assemblies, like Principal's Award goes to yeah, okay, here you go, and they just say maybe.
Yeah, literally.
And it's like there's so many poems about it, like you have to scrape your last name off the tongues of the white man. And my name is always at the top of the roll call sheet because it's with an AF. So they always say Afualo, Afualo, like whatever it is, Afalalo, which there's only one L in there, so I don't know where they got that. Like, and even my mom's maiden name is Maunga, so like that wouldn't have been easier either way. Like, both my parents have very Samoan last names, but now, like, once I got older, I started correcting people. Like, if they mispronounce it, I always correct them, because there's culture in that. It's just respectful to try your best to pronounce it, and then if someone corrects you, to pronounce it the right way. I really hate when you try to correct it and they're like, oh, okay, like same thing. Yeah. But it's not the same thing. Like, say it right or don't say it at all is what I always think. So, okay, Emily, are you listening to that? Lauren?
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, so good. Let's talk about being Polynesian in the US. Now, I feel like the US poly experience is very different from me as a poly in New Zealand. Do you feel that you are more or less connected to the culture because of where in the diaspora you stay?
I would say, I mean, yes and no. I think no, because this is all I've ever known. So I think, like, if I were to go to like New Zealand, like, and I were to go there, or to Samoa, for example, I think I would feel differently about it, probably, because I'd be like, okay, well, this is much more of an immersion than it is where I grew up, like when I was born in Santa Ana, California. So, like, you know, I think it would be much different if I grew up there, obviously. But at the same time, I feel like my parents have done such a wonderful job of always making sure I was connected to my culture, no matter what, like making sure I spent time with my family, I spent time with my elders. I did all the Fa'a Samoa stuff you could think of. Like, I was in many and Ainga growing up. I heard
you were doing Atawa Lunga with your sister.
Yeah, I did. I've done
your extended family.
Exactly. I've done a Kaulunga before. I've been to many funerals and done all of the Fa'a Samoa stuff, many Samoan weddings. I've done all of that stuff. So,
you know,
exactly. So, like, being raised here, yeah, I'm absolutely positive there's a disconnect there, just simply because like we're not closer to like our homeland or motherland. But at the same time, I feel like we've adapted as, you know, American Samoans, like Samoans born in the United States. And also like, you know, my parents always made sure I was so close and connected. And you know, getting to go to college in Hawaii was also another really great experience for me to have, and helped me feel a lot closer to my culture. Just being on an island, even if it wasn't Samoa, like being surrounded by other Samoan kids and getting to like experience life as an adult with all of them around me. So I would say yes and no, but you know, I'm so grateful for the experience regardless. I'm just very thankful for my family. I'm really glad my family kept me like very close to the fire, if that makes sense.
Close to the core, close to the seats.
Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to Mr. and Mrs. Afualo for giving our girl Drew that experience, because it is hard for some Pacific kids out there. They feel too white for the brown crowd and too brown for the white crowd. There's and that space in the middle gets so lonely.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like especially if you are someone but like don't speak to your Samoan family or don't spend a lot of time with them, I feel like sometimes you can feel like this distance a little bit from your culture. Thankfully, like for me and my family, like my brother and my sister, like we've always been super, super close, which I'm very grateful for. And then, you know, now I'm dating a Samoan man too, so that's even more doubling down. Yeah. So like, you know, either way, I feel like for me, there's always been a really good connection there, thanks to my family. So I'm grateful for that regardless, you know?
Awesome. Let's talk being Polynesian in the social media space. You are probably if not the only Polynesian I know in social media. It's a very, you know, blue eyes, blonde hair, and you get flued out, you get all these sponsorships. That's what I see on my FYP, except for you. Now, how has it been trying to navigate the environments as a Samoan woman?
It's been like very interesting, honestly, because for the nature of the work that I do, like, well, first off, let me say this. Samoan representation in media like starts and ends with The Rock. So like, that's like all people have.
I was
like,
listening to two idiot girls and you were talking about finding Ohana, and you and Mason were saying, I'm so happy The Rock wasn't it.
Yeah, like it's just him, right? It's literally just him. I mean, Alex Iono, I know he's someone, so he's like been in the game for a while. And then like Dinah Jane, like she's Tongan. So I think that the representation is so like incredibly small. And someone like myself who started on TikTok, right, for example, which is like a huge Gen Z platform. Like I'm an old millennial, but like having an audience on this huge platform, I feel like has helped people see Polynesians in a different light. So for example, like The Rock obviously has transcended media. Like he's somebody who goes across culture. Like no matter what race they are, everyone's like, I love him. Yeah, he's like a dad to me. I just adore him. And him being Samoan is like obviously a huge part of who he is, because that's his culture. But obviously like with him, he started with sports, right? That was something that he started with. He started with WWE, right? Obviously he was a football player too. So you know what I mean? Like it's almost like he was able to get past all these hurdles to finally get to a point where he's like mainstream media. Yeah. For me, I never had any Samoan women to like look up to. I remember like, this is so like hat on a hat, but when I saw Moana in theaters, I went and saw it when it first came out. I was like in tears. And when I saw it in the beginning, because I was like, I literally see someone who looks just like me. That's just unreal. Like I've never had that ever. Seeing other Samoan girls look up to me, I'm gonna cry. This is so embarrassing. It's unreal. Like I never thought. Why am I so emotional? Honestly,
that means a lot.
Yeah. I just never thought that was going to be the case for me. Getting to be that person for other Samoan girls is like something I truly have thought is like top 3 like best things this platform has ever given me, because representation is so important. Like getting to see yourself in positions that you never thought, like, for me, I've had so many Samoan girls like tell me, I never saw my body type represented in mainstream media. I've never seen someone with like my facial features. Like, for example, my hair and makeup artist is Adam Lee Simmons, which he's so big in the Samoan community. Everybody loves him. But he's so talented. And so he's someone who knows how to do hair and makeup on a Samoan face. Like, he accentuates all my Polynesian features, like my really round face, my big cheeks, my big eyes. Like, those are Samoan features. Like, having a platform to be able to show other girls that like they can feel beautiful and confident and be someone who's like a pillar in social media. Like, that's me gassing myself a little bit, but more so just like getting to see themselves in a light where it has nothing to do with like athleticism. Like, it has nothing to do with football or playing sports in any way. It's just someone who's funny and is like sticking up for others. I think it's so moving to me, because I just care so much. I love being Samoan so much. It's like such a huge part of who I am. So getting to be that girl for other Samoan girls, like, it makes me cry, obviously. It makes me so emotional. So, you know, thinking that now, knowing now that I'm someone for other little girls, that they feel about me the same way I felt when I saw Moana in theaters, it makes me so emotional. Like, I just never thought that was going to be the case. So I'm just very thankful for the platform and getting to be that girl for them. That's just so incredible. Sorry, I cried.
Don't be sorry. Thank you so much for driving home that message and being a driving force for a lot of Samoan girls who are probably looking at you like Moana in the theater.
Yeah. Because
for a long time, they would probably be looking around to no one. They would look in the mirror and just see them, no one else. So, Drew, on behalf of our people, Malo, lava letsa mawhai, malo letsa Hawaii, thank you for being there for our girls. Finally, let's talk about what's next for Miss Afualo. We've got your show, the comment section. I saw that you were co-hosting Spotify's morning show, The Get Up. What else is on the horizon, and what can we expect?
Well, for my show, the comment section, I actually just signed on for season 2, so that's really exciting. There's gonna be season 2. I'm
Bring the Polynesian girls. Bring the Polynesian
girls. Literally. I know, seriously. I need to find them. Everyone, all of them, hit me up. And so my podcast with my sister, Two Idiot Girls, we actually signed to a big company as well, so that's very exciting for us. And then I'm also, let me think about there's so many things happening. I'm gonna be at VidCon in June, which is incredible. I grew up watching YouTubers go to VidCon, so the fact that I get to be a feature creator this year is just unreal. It's a dream come true, honestly. And then I have so many other really big things I can't talk about yet, but they're very exciting. There's much more to come, and I'm just strapping in for the ride, you know. It's taking off. So
man, you are making so many leaps and bounds for our community across the world. I mean, who would have thought you would have gone from 1 million last year, not even a year, just short of a year ago, and then now at 7 million. I mean, the horizons, they are green and clear for you, my girl. Just one more question. I'd just like to ask you about the upcoming NFL draft coming up on the 28th. Do you have I'm not sure if you have any idea of some poly kids that we should look out for?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. Oh my gosh, I genuinely don't know. Can I tell you, girl, I've been unplugged since I left there. I don't pay attention anymore.
And that's pulling out white men from.
And I was like, and that's the petty in me. You know what I mean?
From the ass cracks of society.
Honestly, though, I genuinely need to look into it. I'm gonna ask my boyfriend as soon as I get off this. I'm gonna go ask him because I always look out for them. Like my senior thesis story that I graduated from, I actually won awards for. I did it on the Tango Vailoas. Wow. So like I followed them for like, oh my God, like 3 months. I went to and saw his very first scrimmage against in Alabama. Like, I got so close to the Tonga Vailoas, like I followed them for a long time. So I'm so happy for kids like Tua and his brother Talia, like kids like that, like they make me so proud to be Samoan, because they are making moves like truly even if they're in the NFL or wherever, they're just like, that's crazy. So I need to look. I'm gonna look up.
Have you got to say anything to your Pacific Island audience right now? What would it be?
Oh, that's such a good question. I would say that you are so very valid in your heritage and your culture and whatever you want to do, whatever your passions are. And I would tell them that they're so beautiful. Like, that's something that I want to tell all my Samoan girls. Like, you guys are so beautiful, perfectly, wonderfully made, exactly the way you are. I'm a tall girl and I got a big head and I got big eyes, girl. And we're out here together.
And a big booty too.
Exactly. We're out here together, girl. That's why I want to tell them that you are so amazing, talented, and beautiful. You can do literally anything in this life, whatever you want to do. Just if you put your mind to it, you can achieve it. I promise you that. And whatever it is, you're so talented outside of athleticism. You can be the funniest person. You can be the most talented singer, dancer, whatever you want to be. Just don't limit yourself ever, because you are worthy and valid and so beautiful. So that's what I would say.
Drew, again, thank you so much for Whetaitele Lava, and all the best for your continued success, my sister. All my love to you and your ainga. Please say hi to your sister Dason, your mum and dad, and the rest of your family.
I will.
Please.
Thank you so much. This was a blast. I appreciate your time, and I'm honored to have spoken with you today.
Girl, we need more Polynesian interviews with our girl Drew, because
yes,
spit on about our culture.
Please.
Drew, thank you so much. You take care.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Bye.